London leg of this media tour to announce the biggest heavyweight bonanza since Lennox Lewis dismantled Mike Tyson almost a decade ago. Many of us were in the magnificent Imtech Arena in Hamburg yesterday, where on Saturday, July the 2nd, David Haye tackles Wladimir Klitschko in a crackling unification, which is a shot in the arm for fight fans worldwide. This crunch clash is live and exclusive on Sky Box Office HD, while RTL televised in Germany and HBO in America. It's a global affair. 80 wins, 72 knockouts between them. There's grudge, needle, skills and power. A potent mix for as exciting a match anywhere in sport this year. Joining me, Ben Bonte, the main man of Team Klitschko, and Adam Booth, the main man, of course, of Team Haye. Without further ado, please welcome from just down the road in Bermondsey, South London, the former cruiserweight king of the world and the current and defending WBA heavyweight champion, the Haymaker, David Haye. Now, from the Ukraine, and a hero, of course, in Germany and in many parts of the world, the long-reigning WBO and IBF heavyweight champion, the towering force, who is Dr. Steelhammer, Wladimir Klitschko. Okay, David, a few words. Now you're back in your home country.
Yeah, thanks for all coming down. I went over to Germany yesterday to Hamburg, to Imtech Arena. Beautiful stadium, beautiful arena. I've always wanted to fight somewhere like that, with a huge crowd, huge capacity. I know the atmosphere is going to be electric. We had a face-to-face, the first public face-to-face. We had a face-to-face a couple of weeks ago. We did some promo stuff for HBO. This is the first public one. And a lot of people thought I looked a bit subdued. They said we wasn't your usual self. There was no stunts. There was no razzmatazz. You just said some words and sat down. And yeah, I did. The reason for that is, with my prior fights, I spent a lot of time thinking about, what am I going to say? I need to do something. This time round, I just want to train. I just want to focus 100% on beating him as conclusively and explosively as possible. So most of my energy throughout the day is thinking about destroying him, not thinking of something clever to say. And it's unlike me. It's unlike me to do that, and I'm happy about that. I'm where I want to be physically. I've been training since January. I'm in very good condition already. I wanted to make sure, this potentially could be my last fight, potentially. So I want to make sure I'm superhuman on the night. I want to make sure no stones left unturned. I want to make sure that everything, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed. I'm perfect on fight night. On July 2nd in Hamburg, Germany, everything is done perfectly. And I'm really happy the fight's finally been signed. I'm happy that I've got Wladimir Klitschko. I'm happy about the media attention, and I'm happy I've got my man. I've got the one that I've been talking about for years. The boxing gods decided, July 2nd was the date we was going to get it on, and it's here. It's less than 8 weeks away, and I couldn't be in a better place than I am now, physically, mentally, spiritually, and you're going to see a unified heavyweight champion. I believe Wladimir Klitschko is probably solely responsible for killing the heavyweight division, for making sure that the heavyweight championship hasn't been shown worldwide. A few channels here and there, but the big boys sort of turned off to it. The average boxing fan turned off to it. Finally, they've come back to it for this particular fight, and that's because of me. That's because of my speed, my athleticism, and what I do inside the ring. You know, he was trying to, I don't know what, he had some sort of joke about my Twitter page. You can follow me on Mr. David Haye on Twitter if you want to follow me there. But he said something about I need to write something on. He's trying to come up with jokes, and his personality is exactly how he fights. It's boring. And that's exactly why he needs to be eradicated from the heavyweight division. He says, I have no respect, no class. Yeah, maybe. I've never claimed to be the classiest guy, the most respectful guy in the world. That's probably why a lot of you are here today, to wonder what I'm going to say today. That's why it's probably not going directly live, because no one knows exactly what I'm going to say. But the way I see it, we're two animals. You know, you get two dogs in a fight. You know, one of the dogs got a few tricks, and when you say sit, it sits, the other one rolls over, gives you paw, left paw. That's him. I'm just a dog. You can't control me. And when you get two dogs in a fight, the toughest one wins. The one who's tougher mentally, physically, that's me. I'm a prime fighting machine. He's manufactured. Look at his style. Look at what he does. Boring. Jab, jab, grab. Jab, jab, grab. That's all he does. And then the guys that he's fought so far have allowed him to do that. He can't control me. He tries to control me. The other day he was going to stand up, move there. So mentally he has to try to control everybody and everyone's saying, I won't sit down here. He's blowing the circuit. And on fight night, the circuit will be blown once again, because I will not do what all his opponents have done in the past and take his stupid jab, allow him to grab them. It's not going to happen. He's too slow. He's way too slow to come to the table with me. He's coming to a gunfight unarmed, and he's going to get destroyed. No doubt about it. July 2nd, Hamburg, Germany. Live on Sky Sports, box office, he's getting KO'd. Can't say it any clearer than that. I'm trying to learn it in a few different languages, but my brain don't work that way. Unfortunately, I'm not multilingual like Mr. Intelligence over here. I focus my energy on fighting and knocking people out and looking spectacular, and that's what's going to happen on July 2nd. So tune in. So if you don't, you're going to miss one of the most brutal, explosive heavyweight contests that's ever been. Because I'm in my peak, and it's time for the Klitschkos to fade into boxing history as just big robots that they are.
Thank you, David, on Sky Box Office, of course. Welcome back to London. Great to see Wladimir, and some words for the British press.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here in London. This is one of my favorite cities in Europe, and I have a lot of friends. I spend a lot of time here. It's really, really great to be here, and especially at this press conference. By the way, your mic is too short. At this press conference, and with my future, hopefully, opponent in the ring, David Haye. I actually was thinking, David, I'm talking to you.
Control, freak.
No. I actually was thinking to give you cheering, but you know what? Your performance was not so good. Yeah, I understand you're focusing, on your fight, but your speech was a little bit weak. I was expecting you to do more because you want to be an actor in Hollywood, and that takes a little bit more to get over there. So you have to focus and stay focused on sport. But I have to admit, the man is a businessman. I saw the Haymaker magazine, and I open it. Me, and more me, and more me, and with these people, it's me. So it's really Haymaker magazine. If you like with this magazine, you could change the H to G. It's going to be maybe funnier and better for sales. But it's about fighting, actually. On July 2nd in Hamburg, and it's going to be beautiful arena. We were yesterday there. It's going to be your first fight at the stadium, right?
First fight?
Yes.
Can't wait.
First fight. I promise
your last fight, by the way.
Yes. I promise you, you will really, really be impressed how great is that to fight at the stadium. I've been fighting 3 times before. It's going to be 4th fight in a row. And I can tell you guys, when you're in the middle, in the ring, and all these people, thousands of people, it was all the time different, 45, 50, 61, so this time it's going to be around 50,000 people in the stadium. And the fans, there are going to be a lot of fans from former Soviet republics, a lot of fans from the US, from Germany, and of course from Great Britain. I love British fans. You guys amazing because you're cheering, you're singing, you know, the soccer songs, and you're just supportive. I experienced that before. It was in the US, and it was in Las Vegas actually. One of the British fighters was fighting there, and it was amazing. The British fans were so loud, and it's going to be a fantastic event with a lot of spirit of the fans from different countries with a lot of different mentalities. And it's going to be a really enjoyable night also for me because now, here in London, I want to represent David Haye. There were 49 before that he called them, they are
Bums.
B-U-M-S. So, and I just want to represent number 50. Number 50 on the kill list by Wladimir Klitschko, David Haye. And I'll show you that you are not different than the other 49. And trust me, it's going to be this way. About boxing. Boxing is such a beautiful sport. The history of boxing started here in England, if you look back. And it's a sport of a gentleman. So two gentlemen fight each other with a gesture, and the winner gonna get the female's heart, because we do it all for female. That's the basics of that. And gentlemen behave themselves as gentlemen. Let's see how David Haye gonna behave himself right now. David, I said hello to you. I was trying it before, but you never gave me your hand. David, hello.
I don't do what you want me to do. Don't you understand that? What part of that don't you understand?
Well, the man doesn't want to
You
give me a
cannot
hand.
control me.
It's not.
Unlike your rest of your
It's
opponents
not
who
pretty
just there
good.
for a paycheck.
So it's clean. There's no germs, nothing.
I'll touch your hand
And-
before the fights. When the
Anyway,
referee says
it's-
touch gloves,
it's
because that's part of the
just
rules,
disrespect.
I'll touch gloves then.
For example, right now you're interrupting me.
Here we go, more
Just sit
control.
quietly.
This is the same way
Enjoy
you're
my
doing it.
speech.
I'm loving it.
Enjoy
This
the
is as
speech.
entertaining as your fights.
So, one more time.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
very
right,
happy
on this one.
that David Haye signed the contract. I just want to tell you the truth. I made this fight happen. David Haye wants to have 50% of the deal. He got all those 49 guys, they got big check to fight me. And you're gonna be number 50 and you're gonna get 50%. And you're gonna get the biggest check in the history of my opponents. Not in the history of boxing. Unfortunately for you.
You're
But
getting
anyway.
the biggest check of my opponents. Congratulations.
And I had, we've been talking a lot. There's been a lot of hot air back and forth in the last 2.5 years. Promises that he hasn't delivered, this and that. And now I had to make this deal and I had to give him 50%. I think he didn't deserve it. He hasn't been in the heavyweight division for such a long time. He hasn't established himself. But I have to give credit to this guy. He has been promoting himself in a very rude and disrespectful way. Disrespectful to a lot of fans, to my family, and I will teach you how to behave yourself in a ring. And it's going to be long 12 rounds for you. Long 12 rounds for you. Just, I wish that you won't, keep sitting in the corner like other guys did, and you doesn't want to go, you won't go to the other round, or you're going to get knocked out earlier. So my plan hasn't been changed in the last 2 years. I will fight you for 12 long rounds for you. And in the last 12th round, I will knock you out. And it's actually going to be good for your future life. And my brother is a doctor. And he will take care of, post-traumatic stress and stuff. So I think you're going to do it for free. Just as a favor. But I think it's going to be good for you and for your future life. Just learn some things as respect, not be too cocky. You know, it's good for the beginning, but you know, there's a certain edge, certain line that you cannot cross whatsoever. You can't. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to underestimate David Haye. David Haye has fast hands, great speed. He knocked a lot of guys out. He was cruiserweight champion. And I want to give to David Haye, as a fighter, in a certain way, a lot of respect. And I will get to in the preparation, get myself ready, and it's going to be tough, and I think very interesting fight for the fans all around the world. And you, David, I wish best of luck in the preparation. And it's going to be another press conference in the fight week in London, in Hamburg. We'll see each other again. And I'm so glad that you're going to go first in the ring, that they can make sure David Haye's in the ring so I can walk in. So when you show up in the ring, then I will really believe in this fight. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Vladimir. Let's open it up to the floor.
Well, gentlemen, I would remind you, we are actually live and have been carrying this live on Sky Sports News. I would ask you to mind your language as best you can. I do apologise for anyone offended by some of the language tonight. But David, does Vladimir sound any different from the way he usually does?
No, he sounds just like Borat as usual. No different.
You said this might be your last fight. Are you saying that because if you lose it, you're going to quit?
No, I'm saying just in case I break my hand on his face, I'll be out and that'll miss my deadline of October. If I break my hand in this fight, then potentially that'll be my last fight, because after knocking him out, I'm not going to box past my 31st birthday. So I said potentially. Yeah, that's a little going through my mind.
Wladimir, how confident would you sense David was yesterday? One or two people thought he had a few nerves when he came to
The man is very confident, and I think that he has these images of Corey Sanders' fight, and especially a Brewster fight, and I think that he's very well motivated. He put himself in a certain way in the corner. You know, there's a lot of pressure, but he can handle it. And as I said, as I promised before, if you need any psychological advice or support, my brother can take care of business with that stuff, and he's gonna do it for free. So you don't need to get pay a lot of money to him. And I definitely won't underestimate David Haye. You know, it's all funny and jokes here and there, but it's a serious business. It's you can play basketball, you can play rugby, soccer, but you cannot play boxing. So there's no play, there's no game. You can say a lot, you can promise a lot, but in the ring, that's the real world. That's the real world that David Haye gonna face, and the real heavyweight. So he's gonna fight the best man in the heavyweight division, and I think that he knows it, and I think he will accordingly prepare for this fight.
I mean, you're both champions. Obviously, you have more belts than he does, and yet your name is first on the poster. You will walk in second, be announced second. You're having home advantage here. Have you shown David a lack of respect by perhaps not sharing some of those privileges here? After all, you are both champions, and this is a unification fight.
Well, we had different options to fight in different countries. So we end up in Hamburg Arena. And I'm very happy about that. So it wasn't at the beginning planned this way, but we got such a great deal that no one could give us, and that's why we end up in Hamburg. And as I said, just by accident, of course, and I live in Hamburg, so it's my hometown in Hamburg, Germany, or in Germany. And I'm from the Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, and but I have, of course, a lot of friends that live in that city. All of them are going to be there, and I'm very happy about this. This matter of fact, I've been fighting in Hamburg a couple of times before. Never fought at the soccer stadium in Hamburg, so it's going to be an experience for me and also for David Haye, because as I promised to you, David, you will really, however, you will really enjoy the atmosphere, because stadium is something very spiritual and very, very special. If you think about soccer games, then you realize how many people are there. And the field is pretty big. So the field of boxing ring is, if I call it the field, so the mat of boxing is very, very, very small. But we got good responses in the first day on ticket sales, and I think we're going to pack this arena full. It's going to be great spirit and of course enjoyable for me to fight in my hometown Hamburg.
Adam, is that the way negotiations were? Was this just a big deal, or did you sense the Haye camp wanted to have the advantage in all these areas?
The Haye camp? No.
Sorry, the Klitschko camp.
Yeah, they asked for them. They wanted them.
Were they all deal breakers?
Not from our side, but I've had a few times it's been said, agree to this or the fight's off. It happened a few times. I just gave Bern some water because he said if I've got no water, the fight's off. So, you know, there's a few concessions to make, but David made them, the fight's on, so all that's history now. It's now time to get ready for something very, very special.
If Wladimir needs to come to the ring second, as he says, make sure that I'm in the ring. Ideally, I'd like him to come to the ring first to know he's there, because obviously he pulled out his last 2 fights with an injury, so he says that about me, but you've got to turn that mirror on himself. If he needs to come to the ring second, if he needs to go in a certain corner, if he needs this, as I said to Adam asked me, so, you know, that was thinking, I thought it would be fair, seeing we're both champions, to flip a coin and say, okay, who goes to the corner? Okay, you're in the red, you're in the blue. I thought that would be a fair thing to do as we're both champions, but apparently not from their side. They wanted these things. I said, Adam, if they want it, if he wants to walk to the ring second in his last fight, good luck to him. You know, it's going to be the last time he walks to the ring as a champion, so I know it's not going to be the last time I do, so if he wants to do that, it wasn't a big deal for me. You know, I know as long as I'm in the ring, as long as he's in the ring, I win the fight. How we get into the ring, you know, you have to helicopter him in for work here. It's irrelevant, you know. So the fight's happening, that's the only thing that matters. All these other little facts are just academic and mean nothing in the big scheme of things.
Bert, if I could finally ask you, how would you characterise negotiations between yourself and Adam, and what discussions have you had about the referee and the judges for this?
I mean, the negotiations were obviously pretty tough. They started 2.5 years ago, and here we are, finally. And honestly, I think since Adam and myself were more or less with our inner circle involved in things, it was easier than in the beginning when other promoters were involved. So I think in the end everything is fine also from their side, and I think if you compare these belts here, also by quantity, I think it's obviously that we were asking for Wladimir come in or walk in last, but by the way, the compromise is he is introduced first. That is always how these things are worked out, and I think it's fair and square, and that's it. I mean, hometown advantage was never something we wanted from the beginning on. When we started our negotiations more than 2.5 years ago, we all wanted to go to Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. Wladimir knows Abramovich. We were invited by Abramovich. We wanted to go there. That was originally the first plan, but then the other side could not deliver, and then we ended up in Gelsenkirchen at that time, in the Schalke Arena, and now we're in Hamburg again. But we were also together trying to find other arenas, other venues, other countries. But in the end, it was just the best business case, and Adam and myself both agreed to it. That is, I think, the result.
Any other questions?
But can I ask what the turning point was in the negotiations?
Pardon?
What was the turning point in the negotiations that actually made it happen in the end? When was the turning point?
I mean, that the fight is now happening was more or less the reason that Wladimir was injured and could not go through with the Chisora fight. Otherwise, I mean, without the injury, we would have had a fight in April and then maybe later a fight with David. Now the fight is earlier because of that injury.
So you think the fight would always have happened anyway?
Yeah, I'm sure that the fight would always have happened.
With, excuse me, with 3 different organisations' titles on the line, which one of you is going to to pick the officials for the fight? Is it going to be the WBO, IBF, or the WBA?
I think honestly that is something we all have to agree to.
Yeah, but I mean, you haven't agreed to anything yet.
No, but I mean we all have to be happy with the officials. The only thing I think we all want and expect are absolutely neutral officials.
Somebody's going to have to choose them.
It's we've agreed to allow the governing bodies collectively to agree. Once all the governing bodies who are sanctioning this fight agree amongst themselves, that's our principle, because we're represented and represented by the WBA and Vladimir by the IBO.
Well, I'm asking, who's going to choose
So the officials, the governing bodies will agree on the officials between them, and we've already agreed to allow them to make that.
Right, with those three bodies, then you might get the fight on in about 12 months.
A bit sceptical.
Why isn't the fight in Britain, Adam, from your perspective?
The only reason why it's not in Britain is because Vladimir wants to have his German doctor in the corner with him, and that is something the British Boxing Board of Control wouldn't allow to happen. The British Boxing Board of Control insists and legislate that they have their own doctors there. And that was the deal breaker. And that's why Chelsea didn't happen, and that's why the fight's not in the UK this time.
But also to finish that, there is an English ring doctor in David's corner, because the German boxing board allowed that. He has to have a license of the British Board of Boxing, and will then be licensed by the German Board of Boxing. But it was not possible vice versa.
David, when we did some interviews, you told me every time when you're watching one of the Klitschkos in a fight, it's tiring you. I'll make you sure that you don't fall asleep in round number.
I'll make it exciting. As you said, yeah, watching the Klitschko's fight, you know, I really recommend if any of you are struggling with sleep, like insomnia or whatever, watch a couple of Klitschko fights, because you will end up nodding off. But this is going to be one of the few fights that is going to have, that is actually going to be exciting. If you look at any of the fights that have been exciting in his career, very few of them, it's when he's been knocked out. And that's exactly what's going to happen again, so you pretty much guarantee it's going to be exciting.
I hope it's going to be more exciting than all the Harrison fight.
I think it's going to be more exciting than Sultan Dragamon. Audley Harrison was 3 rounds, bit of a snooze fest for 2, then I knocked him out in the 3rd, as predicted. Your fight with Sultan Dragamon in 12 rounds, about exactly the same amount of action, so there you go.
Vladimir, why do you want your own German doctor in the corner? Why was it a problem to have an English doctor for a fight in this country?
To be honest with you, Bernd Bonti was the doctor, so I'm a fighter in the ring, so I don't care about that. But Bernd is my manager, and he negotiates things, and you know, you have to, as a fighter, divide certain things which you're doing. I'm a fighter, and I care about the fight, but nothing else.
I said everything. I mean, we want neutral on every side, and in this case, we had. I mean, some of you were there. We had our experience in Los Angeles in the Lewis fight. You can always discuss, was it okay, was it not okay? But anyway, we want to make sure that someone objectively watches it. I mean, all these doctors have a license, and they are doctors. Yeah? And we only want that a doctor checks, knock on wood, nothing happens in the fight on both sides, that it is fair and square, and that's it.
Wait, is there a small part of you that respects anything that Vladimir has done in his career?
You've got to respect his consistency for boredom and being boring. Very few people can be consistently boring like he is, so you've got to respect that. Personality and in the ring.
David, the odds are 7-4 in favor of Vladimir. In case the bookmakers are right, are you ending your career?
No, the bookmakers once again going against me on this one. They've done it before when I fought Mormek and when I fought Valuev. They went against me, and you saw the results there. You know, the odds makers look at his prior record and look at mine, and they feel that he's he's got an edge over me in size and experience. If that's what you want to go with him. Put your money on Wladimir. If you want to win, put your money on me, because this isn't going the distance, no way. You know, and if it does, same because I choose it, because I choose for it to go the distance. I can outbox him, I can outfight him, middle range, long range. He thinks he can outjab me, he doesn't realise I can outjab you. You think you've got a great jab, I can outjab you, and you'll see it on the night.
I'm accidentally a champion, I'm sorry.
Yeah, accidentally.
I'm accidentally
Got into the wrong fight here.
You're right, you're the greatest.
I am. As long as you recognise that. Then...
by the way, we were talking about before in the question with the bets in the booking stores. Raise your hand. Who gonna bet on David Haye wins the fight? Please. Okay, the David Haye's team. Okay.
All winners. That's what I like to see. Laugh all the way to the bank, boys.
But you got a team that believes in you. That's great. No, it's supportive. It's awesome. So the others, I think, it's accordingly to Klitschko. It's a lot of pressure actually on me. You know, I will take care of business. But thank you for your support.
Wladimir, you mentioned your respect for Haye's speed. How will you deal with the speed inside the ring?
Well, I've been handling it. I'm kind of slow and clumsy and boring, and somehow I'm knocking the people out. And I don't know, it's all kind of accidental, I think. But it's consistently. So we'll deal with that. I'm probably going to take for speed Nikolai Valev, that was beaten by Evander Holyfield, that is already 48 years old, and by Chagayev. And I think Valev is going to give me great speed for Haye. Anyway, I'm going to handle it. So I'm going to get to the training camp and prepare myself.
David, Wladimir says you're going to go 12 rounds. What are your predictions?
Just want to ask it, thank you.
My prediction is, I don't want to say exact prediction because the odds go, lose the odds and the
We're going to our money, basically.
I'll send the text out with the exact prediction.
Please tell the prediction.
I don't want to say it yet.
No, you predicted Ole Harrison fight. Come on, do it now.
3. I'm not. It depends. It depends. You know, I get a feeling for as he gets closer to the fight, as to how my training goes, how my sparring goes, how the time is feeling physically. I'm a long way out from the fight yet. So as I start to hone in, I can see. Okay, I might hold him up for 5 or 6 rounds. I might take him out early. Depends. You know. As I said, I've got to wait. See what the odds are closer to the fight. Not that I'll ever bet on myself. As that's again, I would never do that. Just making that clear. But it's just for you guys.
I'm gonna give you $1 euro. I mean,
get that
British pound.
Going by my
A British pound. No, I'll give you 1. You didn't deserve more. I'll give you 1. Yeah, you gotta get 50% of my purse. Anyway, so I'll give you $1. Pound. I'm sorry. I'll give you £1.
What are you talking about, man?
That you will get knocked out in the 12th round at the end.
£1.
Here's the deal.
Whatever that means. You kind of
You heard that.
decrypt that. I'm sure you had a point somewhere there.
Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. The finals will close head to head.
Should be interesting.